Bonjour, comment ça va? I hope you had a good spring break. So, I'm gonna go over the assignments for this week and then explain to you the lessons. So, excuse me, we are doing le futur proche. Le futur proche means near future. So, of course, same as always, step one is going to be the lesson and the notes that I want you to take. So here you go. The objective for this week is going to be to learn how to conjugate the verb aller and form the immediate future or the near future. And you know that the word to conjugate means to change the form of the verb or the action word. So before we do that, we have to review the verb aller, which is in present tense, because we are going to use it to be able to talk about something that you are going to do like next hour, next couple of days, but no more than the next 3 weeks. So here you go. The verb aller means to go, and it is an irregular verb. It does not follow the er regular verbs because it is irregular. So the way we conjugate it or we change the form in present tense is going to be je vais, first one, tu vas, il or elle va, nous allons. So because the verb aller starts with the vowel a, so and the word before ends with an s, so I make la liaison. That's what we call it in French, just to make it easy to pronounce. I add a z sound, or we add a z sound when we speak in French. So we say nous allons instead of saying nous allons. For us, nous allons is a little bit too heavy, so we just say nous allons. So nous allons, vous allez, il or elle vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. Okay? And there is a link to the song if you want to listen to the song. So here you go again. It is the verb aller, and this is the translation. And you know that je vais, and since in French we only have present tense, we do not have present continuous. It's just one thing for us. So I say je vais, it will have both meanings of I go, which is simple present, and then I'm going, which is present continuous, and that's what we call it in English. We call it present continuous. So je vais means I go or I'm going. Tu vas, you go, you're going. Il or elle va, he or she goes or he or she is going. Nous allons, we go or we're going. Vous allez, you go, the formal, or you're going. And then the last one, ils or elles vont, they go for male or female, or they're going. And there's another link here for you. Just if you didn't understand the lesson, there's another link here for you to help you with more examples. But I think this one is very simple. The near future is very simple in French, and because you already use it in English. So I'm going to show you some of the examples. So if I say je vais au lac, it means I'm going to the lake or I go to the lake. Remember, the present tense in French, it has, again, I'm saying it again, it has both meanings of simple present and present continuous. So nous allons à la campagne, it means we go or we're going to the countryside, and they're going to the internet cafe, which is elles vont au cybercafé. And here you go, the last one. Tu ne vas pas au théâtre. I'm using the negative form. It means you're not going to the theater. And this one just like the exact translation, one word by one, but the meaning is going to be you're not going to the theater. So that was like present tense of the verb aller. Because it is irregular, I wanted to show you or review it with you, and then I'm going to show you how we create a futur proche and what does it mean futur proche and when you use it. So futur proche, basically it is called the immediate future, and we call it also near future. And what are you going to do basically? So these events are definitely going to happen sometime in the next future, but remember, it is no longer than 3 weeks. So if it is, let's say, next month, for example, you will be using the future, which is something that we're going to learn later. But if you're talking about something that you're just going to do in the next 3 weeks, you will be using futur proche, which is basically you will be using the verb aller with another verb. And remember that you always use the verb aller when using the future post. You cannot have future post, you cannot have a near future without having the verb aller, which is the same thing in English. You cannot talk about something that you're going to do without having the verb to go. So it is the same as English. So here you go, a future proche again. Forming the future proche is very simple. And the way you do it, you're going to have the subject or whoever is doing the action. Then you're going to have the form of the verb aller that we learned, which is this. You're going to have this part here, je vais, tu vas, il va, in present tense, and then you add any other verb that you want to talk about. So, for example, if you want to say, I'm going to eat, you will have to use je vais manger. So you already have the person who's doing the action, which is je. Then you have the verb aller in present tense, which is je vais. It means I'm going. And then you have the verb to eat. You keep it as it is. You do not change it. You do not drop the R at the end. You do not add an O and S. No, the second verb, which is the one that comes after the verb aller, you keep it as it is. You keep the ER, you keep the IR, or you keep the RE at the end. So, je vais manger, and you do the same thing in English too. So, you keep the second verb as it is. It means I, I am going to eat. So, you're not going to say, for example, if I say he is going to eat, you're not going to say he is going eats. It's not correct. Same thing in French, it is not correct. So just keep that in mind that futur proche is 100% similar to near future that you have or we have in English. So these are more examples. Tu vas faire la fête, you're going to party. Demain, il va faire chaud. Tomorrow, it is going to be hot. And then nous allons aller au parc. We are going to go. So this one sometimes can be confusing because you have the verb to go twice. But remember that you will conjugate the first one, which is I'm going, you're going, he's going, we're going. And then the second verb, you keep it as it is. So it is correct to have both verbs next to each other, which is the verb to go, but the first one will be conjugated. You will be changing the form of the verb, but the second one, you keep it as it is. Same thing in English, you do the same thing. You will see that you have the verb to go twice. The first one is conjugated because are going. The second one, just you keep it as it is. Last one is I'm going to speak French. Je vais parler français. So just remember that this is just a note. I think I already talked about it, but just keep in mind that in the immediate future or the near future, in English, you do add is or are because that is present continuous for you. But in French, we do not do that because we don't have present continuous. We only have present, a simple present, and it will have both meanings of simple present and then present continuous. And I already talked about that at the beginning of this video. So I want you to practice this. So just try to change these sentences to near future and just do it on a piece of paper if you want. And then next slide, it will give you the answer. And then I'm not going to stop on that one a lot because I want you to do it by yourself. Same thing. Here you go. You have another slide just to help you practice. And then the next one, I will talk about the negative form. So you know that the negative form in French, we use ne pas, which is do not or doesn't. So, and they both have to be separate. You cannot put ne and e and pas, pas, next to each other. Here you go. This is ne pas. You always have to separate them. And the verb usually goes between ne and between pas. And the verb that will go between ne and pas is the verb to go. So it's going to be which is the first one. So here's an example. Vous n'allez pas, you see, I put the ne before the verb aller and I put pas after the verb aller and the second verb comes after. So you aren't going to eat an apple. Vous n'allez pas manger des pommes. So these are other examples. And this is again practice. And this is another one, which is I want you to just think about sentences or verbs that we learned in French and look at the picture and tell me what do you think these people or the person in the picture is going to do. So I do have the verb voyager, to travel, and I want you to think about how are you going to say maybe she's going to travel. So just think about it and then change it to French, and it will help you practice. But I do have activities for you that you will be using to help you practice more the vocab. So I am going to go back to the folder, and then I will show the practice. So this is the activity that you will be doing. It's very simple because, as I said, you already do this in English, so it should be simple. But just take a look at the presentation, watch the videos that I shared with you, and it is going to help you with this assignment. So question one, I am asking you to write the correct form of the verb aller. So I already have part one, which is the person who's doing the action, which is the subject. I have part three, which is the action word, the second action verb, and then the middle part is gonna be the verb aller, which is you're gonna say I go, you go, he goes, or I'm going, you're going, he's going. So you're just gonna put the correct form of the verb aller that you already learned in step one. Same thing when it comes to question B. I want you to put the verb aller first, the correct form of the verb aller based on these pronouns. And then I want you to find the translation to French of these verbs. And I did share with you the word reference. So just type the English and it will give you the correct translation. Remember, you are adding two verbs. Look at my example. I did add the first verb, which is the verb aller, and then you use word reference. If you forgot how to say some of these verbs, use word reference to write the second verb. You are writing two verbs for question B. Question A, you're writing only the verb aller, only one verb. Question C, what you need to do is that similar to question B, you will be writing two verbs. The first one is going to be the verb aller, the correct form of the verb aller. The second one is going to be the translation of the verbs that you have here. And then last question, it is a little bit similar to question B and C, but different at the same time because I already gave you the second verb. So you will have to write the first verb, which is the correct form of the verb aller. And then when it comes to the second verb, I want you, because this one is conjugated, it says, let's see, third example. Il court dans le parc demain matin. He is running in the park demain matin, which is tomorrow morning. So if you're going to add the verb aller, it was going to be il va. So he is going, and then you're going to have to change this verb. You cannot say he is going, is running. You're going to have to say he is going to run. So just find the correct ending or change the verb to the infinitive form. So this is question D, and this is how you're supposed to do it. And then that's it. And then, of course, you're going to have to submit it when you're done. And then the rest is going to be just the music money and then the choice activities. Allez. Merci, au revoir, and of course, let me know if you have questions. Allez, au revoir.